Hello, hello. I'm going to tweet out that I'm live, or attempt to. Okay, so I forgot to tweet it. Oops. Okay, I think that's covered. So today I want to talk about one of the budget decks I'm really excited to play, and that is Gargos, the Vicious Watcher. So I think this is normally built to be Hydras, and it has a little bit of that in the deck. But what's really cool is that whenever a creature becomes a target of a spell or ability that we control, Gargos gets to fight up to one target creature we don't control. So we can end up taking out a lot of our opponent's stuff. And so Invigorate, this is a really neat one. We actually don't have to pay the mana cost if we just let an opponent gain 3, which doesn't really matter because we can end up just punishing them with our commander or any other cool creature. And that's just one of the cool things in the deck. And I tried to make all the forests in this deck have that old border, and there's just this one odd one in here. I need to work on that. But it is a really fun deck. This was made by Tomer from Budget Commander on Twitch, and I'm really excited to play this on a video or stream sometime. This is a really powerful budget deck. It costs around $40 right now. At the time that Tomer made it, it was a $25 deck, and it's really good. So Karametra's Acolyte, this is really sweet because there's a lot of green pips or a lot of green mana on our cards, and it takes advantage of that, especially with our commander being 3 of them, and this is covering 1. So I tapped this for probably 11 mana on 1 turn. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. If you're watching, make sure to say hey, and then I'll say hey back. Next, Yeva, Nature's Herald. This is a really powerful one too. It does give our creatures that are green flash, and since we're a mono green deck, we take the most advantage of that. And then there's Orin Viper. So when it deals combat damage to a creature, we get to destroy it at the end of combat. And when it deals combat damage to a player, we get to draw a card, which is helpful. There's actually a lot of ways to draw cards in this deck, so let me find some. There is Snake Umbra, so whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, it draws a card. Hunter's Prowess is silly, because however much damage the creature deals to a player, we draw that many. And it also can target a creature of ours, which will trigger our commander, and we'll do a lot of silly stuff. So Colossal Majesty is how we draw. At our upkeep, if we control a creature with power 4 or greater. And there's a lot of great ramp in the deck as well. I mentioned before, there's Wild Growth, and even some Grave Hate with Ground Seal. So this makes it where cards in graveyards can't be the target of spells or abilities. That's really powerful too. And since it doesn't bother us any, we're probably causing our opponents a lot of harm, which is cool. And Whisper of the Wild. So this is a neat mana dork that originally taps for 1 green, but it can tap for 2 if we control a creature with power 4 or greater. So it's very likely we're going to have that need met, or that requirement met, and so we can tap this for 2. I do think that if I had purchased the other decks that he made, so when he makes decks like these, they actually come in like sets of 3 pricing, so this was the cheapest at 25, and then I think he does 50 and 100. Of course that can vary every time, but what's really cool is that just for $25 this can keep up with most decks. Yeah, that's the crazy part. Another way for us to draw cards is Drum Hunter. If we control a creature with power 5 or greater, we can draw, and that's at our end step. Okay. One with Nature's super cool. If we deal combat damage, we get a basic land on the battlefield tapped. So a really great way to abuse Gargos' ability is by using things like Whip Silk. So this is an enchantment that costs 1 green, and we can pay green to return it back to our hand. So for 2 mana, we can start killing off a lot of stuff. We can also make our commander unblockable for 4 mana. Yeah, this is a really sweet deck. Return of the Wild Speaker is a great one because it is a modular card, so we can either draw a huge amount of cards or deal a huge amount of damage with its second mode here. I really like that. Aw. Drewby, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate it. I hope you're doing well, and I'm glad you enjoyed your deck. That means a lot. Let's see. Keeper of the Fables is an underrated card. So it cares about how many opponents we're attacking, and we want to attack as many opponents as possible. So swing at 3, we deal them damage, we get to draw a card, and that's really neat. Now if it was every creature gets to draw, that would be a lot better. I really like Llanowar Tribe. So it does cost 3, but it taps for 3. So on turn 4, so assuming turn 3 we cast this, turn 4 we have 6 mana, and if we play a land, that's 7 mana. Yeah, super powerful. Green definitely takes advantage of ramping, and also Ronus's Monument is really cool. So green creatures cost 1 less to cast, which is great for the deck. But whenever we cast a creature, we get to target a creature, and it gets +2/+2 in trample. What's really sweet is that, remember, when we target our creatures, we're getting to fight up to one other creature that we don't control. So again, we're just taking out all of our opponent's stuff. Regal Force, we will draw a huge amount of cards. Overwhelming Stampede is a great one. It is a little expensive, so normally I recommend End Raise Forerunners, so it is an expensive mana cost, but for 2 more we can give all of our creatures +2/+2 vigilance and trample. So, and it's a creature, so that could be worth it if we are wanting only creatures. Oh, okay. Here's the crazy card draw I want to talk about. So, Season of Growth. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get to scry 1. Hi, Drewby. Yeah, my weekend's going well. My husband's been working overtime, and he finally got the weekend off, so he's able to relax a little bit. And the cool part about Season of Growth is that whenever we cast a spell that targets a creature we control, we get to draw a card. So all of those silly cards, like, I don't even know how much this is worth, probably 2 cents, but Blossoming Defense. Target creature you control gets +2/+2, gains hexproof until end of turn. So for 1 green mana, we target one of our creatures, and it gets to fight something. We also get to draw a card. It then gains hexproof. It gets +2/+2. Yeah, it gets really silly. And there's also a tutor in the deck that I really like. We get to get 2 different creatures into our hand for 5 mana, which isn't bad. And I usually go for card draw or the Endrace Forerunner so I can deal a huge amount of damage. And to all the viewers, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'm just chatting and hanging out with the community and talking and geeking out about the decks that Tomer made. So I'll probably be talking about 3 of his decks that I purchased. By the way, these are Dragon Shield sleeves. These are lime, and they're not my favorite color, but they are my favorite brand of sleeves, so you should definitely check them out. And they're not sponsored. Joshua, hello, nice to have you. I'm just chatting about Magic and geeking out. Also, this deck box is pretty good. This is Ultimate Guard's 100+ Boulder. I'm going to mess up your name probably, but Hellion Lord, it's good to see you. Kylie, it's good to see you too. So far, it's been a good weekend. This is Ultimate Guard's 100 Boulder, and I do like these. They used to be my favorite, but my favorite right now is the Gamegenic. Oh, I already forgot what it's called, but it has these flaps on here, so it's easily removable. They're magnetic, and your deck's just right there. That's it. And then it's put away very easily. These are so much easier to work with than the Ultra Pro deck boxes. The one that everybody loves. I just can't remember the name. Yeah, I'll have a video actually talking about the deck list for Gargos. It is super sweet. Literally, or I say literally, it was $25 originally, but now it's around $40, and shipping was included, so I thought that was really cool. What did help bring down the price was that you purchase it without the basic lands. So I purchased the cards through Card Kingdom, and the basic lands they charge are 25 cents a piece. I believe there were 36 basics, and so that's around $9 that I saved from just using forests that I already had in my collection. So this could have been a $50 deck. I made it 20% cheaper just by using cards I already had. And yeah, that's a great way to save on some money. Oh, I already forgot. Yeah, I don't remember what these are called, but I really love this deck box. Super easy to remove, unlike the Ultra Pro ones. So, because you have to shimmy them open. It's really bad. Yeah, these are my favorite right now. And again, they're 100+, so I don't know if they do double sleeve, unlike this. Yeah, I think the... Oh, Satin Towers, that's what they're called. So this is their miniature version, and what's cool is that these can fit double sleeves, which is really nice if you are into that. Okay, so from Kylie, I'm going to move this screen over. So what's the commander deck you have more fun to play with your playgroup? That's a tough one. I think my favorite is probably anything group hug related. So braids is a lot of fun. I take that apart and put it back together every single time, because I reuse a lot of my cards, so that helps me save budget wise. And what's really neat is that when I build braids, it's pretty much the same list every time. I get a lot of cheap creatures, money wise, and the mana cost is insanely huge, and that's why nobody plays them, and they're really cheap. And then all of my card draw stuff's in there. So I have Dictative Crewfix, I have Howling Mine, Font of Mythos, which was, I think, $4 whenever they reprinted it, and now it's inching back up, so I recommend buying a copy. So, from Hellion Lord, may I suggest a new commander you make a deck around? Sure. From Stadurko, I like budget decks, and I totally agree with you on the philosophy that not playing cards that you say win the game. Yeah. My personal preference is not playing cards that say you win the game. I like either dealing a bunch of damage or overwhelming my opponents. Like, for example, I talked about in that video, I'll deal so much damage because I have out the black creature that whenever a artifact would be put into your graveyard, you get to deal that much damage equal to its power. And since you have so many treasures, you just abuse sacking them, getting mana, dealing your opponent's damage. It's really good. What about a Satoru deck? I don't know that commander, so I will look that up real quick. And happy Saturday to everybody. It's been a good Saturday. We missed the snow, so everything is south. Everything south of me is snow, and east is snow. Satoru Umezawa is from the latest Kamigawa set, all about ninjutsu. Okay, so let me put that on the screen and then we can show everybody. So, let's see. I'm not able to show it, sadly. I'll have to work on that. But it is a really cool ninja. I want to talk about actually the Nitpicky Nerds budget deck and how cool it is. This is their mono blue deck, and it has partners for the commanders. So it's Eligeth and Siani. I made a video on this. If you love to draw cards, I really recommend this deck. So it takes advantage of scrying, and you get to draw whenever you're supposed to scry. So imagine paying 1 blue mana to draw 3. Yep. I like that a lot, because that card, is banned in Commander. So I'll take it. Serum Vision. So originally you draw and you scry 2. So you actually draw 3 for 1 blue, and sorcery speed, not instant, but still. You normally have to pay 4 mana to draw 3, and that's in blue and black. So it's crazy. Hellion Lord likes their decks. I use some of them to inspire my own decks. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think this is the only one I've purchased and built. I thought about some of their other decks, but they are not in my budget, sadly. So I could make a video on that, I'm sure. I have a Marin deck that's budget and is not playing usual strategies, and wins by sacrificing tokens that produce mana, something like Brood Monitor, or just slamming Avengers and a card a few times. Would really like to see you do something like that. I have one Marin video. It was a series I was doing called Mango Decks, so every card was less than a mango, which I think is like 98 cents in America. So assuming every card was 98 cents, the deck would be $98. But that's not the case. Usually it is probably $30. But I can redo it. I can see if I can make it cheaper or better than it was. What is interesting is that every year I feel like I'm getting better at deck building. Because when I first started this channel, I had videos that would meet a monetary goal. So somebody asked for a $10 deck because that was their budget, and I gave them a $10 deck, or I made a video for their $10 deck. And what's sad is that while it met that goal, there was barely any card draw in it because it was a mono red deck. But I thought it was okay because it was the commander that, if you have an aura or equipment attached to it, you get to make a 3/1 elemental. And you can do a lot of cool stuff with that as well. But that didn't do well, at least drawing cards wise. So I have adopted the deck building thing where there's usually 10 ways to draw, 10 ramp. Well, actually, I've changed that. So in a recent video I mentioned the ramp can be anywhere from 12 to 14 depending on how many lands I have in the deck. So yeah. Oh, okay, there is one thing I really wanted to talk about. You're talking about the Commander's Quarters deck. No, this was a deck I assuming you're talking about the first deck I tried to make for like $10. Yeah, this is the deck I can barely open, or the deck box. The commander was mono red, and whenever you have an aura equipment on it at the beginning of combat, you get a 3/1 elemental for each one. Yeah, okay. So this is my husband's wall deck, and I wanted to talk to you all about it because it is an interesting deck, and also I'm struggling to make it work, and I'd love to talk to you all about that. So I'm first going to separate it into a couple categories, and by a couple I mean a lot. So all the creatures, or should be all the creatures should be walls. And as for the lands, there are some really good ones in here, like Hinterland Harbor. I think that's like a $5 card. And yeah, there's some really great lands in here, and don't tell my husband, but I think about taking some of the cards out of here all the time, but I don't, because I'm a good wife. And anyways, this is a cool deck, very budget friendly, at least the last time I built it. I think it was probably like $5 for all the walls at the time that I purchased them. I think 50 euros, 57 US is perfect budget for silly fun decks. They can draw strong cards, fun interactions, but they don't go crazy. I absolutely agree. I really like being able to make a budget deck better than decks that are over $200. Edmund, it's good to have you. Noah, it's good to have you. Right now we're talking about my husband's wall deck, which is in front of us, and I was going to talk about why it performs poorly, and I think I know the reason. It struggles with having the right colors, or it might need more ramp, to be honest, because the card draw is a lot of fun. See, like, it has brush land in it. Like, it has really good lands in here. Oh, Studurco, you're fine. I have the webcam right here in front of my screen, so I just have to keep peering over. Oh yeah, Arcades is super strong. I think that my friend first built it, and he was talking about how, like, yeah, you play a creature, you draw a card, and just keeps repeating. You get to do silly things like, yeah, I need to read the commander anyways. So it's a 3/5 flyer vigilance, and what's really cool is that whenever a creature with defender enters the battlefield under your control, you get to draw, and each creature with defender you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power, and can attack as though it didn't have defender. So you can end up paying 3 mana for something like Wall of Ice, and it's a 0/7. So for 3 mana you can have a 7/7, or even for 1 mana you get a 4/4, and it's really cool. Yeah, Sun Petal Grove, Razor Verge Thicket. Yeah, it's crazy. Brave the Sands. Your creatures now have vigilance, and they can block an additional creature. That's super good. Because when you attack with your walls, you're just leaving yourself wide open. Life with Luke says, this card is remove on sight. The deck is so good, or is too good with the commander out. Correct. That's why I have protection for, like, Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots. You know, I don't think I have any counter spells besides Bant Charm, but that's really specific. He has Path to Exile in here. This guy, I'm gonna keep him, but oh, okay. This is a really special card. This is one I painted for him. This is a baby Groot as a forest. It's really cute. I also think about taking that out of the deck. Jamie, I got back into MTG after years on 2020 to play Commander. Arcades was the first deck I built. Oh yeah, such a fun deck. Which is why I really want to fix this, because my husband deserves better. And I mean, when it goes off, it does really well. Oh, I put that in the wrong spot. Yeah, it does well when it does well, and it could be that our power levels are different. Like, maybe I just have decks that are too strong against this. I don't... Okay, this is the card that is not a wall, but imagine giving all your creatures flying, and your opponents lose flying. Archetype of Imagination. I mentioned this in the recent review of the Nitpicky Nerds set review. Super good card. It was like 50 cents when I purchased it. I don't know what it is now. Life with Luke says, OMG Groot. Correct. Oh, Kylie. She says, oh, Groot Land's so cute. Edmund says, need a lot of protection for Arcades. Or many bounce spells. We're talking. Commander that I like is Torrens. He's pretty strong. I'm going to Google that real quick. So Torrens came out in the Vampire set. Costs 3 mana, has training. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 green and white human soldier with training. Interesting. And trainings, whenever this creature attacks with another creature with greater power, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. That actually might be a really good card in the elephant deck that cares about counters. I think it's an elephant. Tetsu Umezawa is a must. The deck is very strong and reliant. Makes it fragile by default, yeah. A lot of times I'll be playing a 1v1 with my husband, and he'll play this deck, and I feel really bad because, like, if I remove the commander, it's just like, well, you got a bunch of walls now. Best of luck to you. I don't know how you're gonna get back just casting your commander again. So maybe this needs more interaction. Maybe that's what it's missing. This is good. Yes, Hamza. Thank you. That was the one I was thinking of. Torrens is a great card and a commander. It looks pretty good. I may have to make a deck on it. That looks pretty cool. Not too exciting, but Mnemonic Wall. So when it enters the battlefield, you get an instant or sorcery from your grave to your hand. You don't get to take advantage of like a cheap mana cost for 0/4, but I like getting back my instants and sorceries, so I'll take that. It's cool. The mana rocks could be better. So Darksteel Ingot is 3 and our commander's 4, so already we're missing. Like, it's recommended you get cheaper mana rocks than your commander, which that need is met, but it's probably better if we go for 2 or less, so that way we can work into that. Canopy Vista, Rites of Flourishing, my favorite. This is interesting art. It's called Wall of Wonder. For 4 mana you get a 1/5, and you can make it +4, -4 until end of turn. And this can attack for 4 mana. Yeah, we probably won't be using that. Command Tower's 25 cents. That's wonderful. This guy's got a chromatic lantern in here. I need to talk to him. Hellion Lord says I have a deck around him, gets scary fast. Edmund says I only play generals that are hard to remove. Okay. Like the enchantment god. Oh yeah, enchantment gods, or good on cast like Prosh, Maelstrom Wanderer. That's really cool. Okay. I just posted a video today talking about Lord of Tressorhorn. It has regenerate on the commander, which is really cool. Okay. So I'm gonna separate the basics and see how that lines up with our mana base, or how that lines up with our deck. Maybe I won't be able to fix the deck, but I can identify what's going wrong with it. Because, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 28, 32, 36 lands. So 4 of each basics, and then a huge stack of lands here. Maybe. Okay, so 36 lands. That would mean if I wanted 50 mana sources, I would need 14 mana rocks or ramp. And I don't think this deck has that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's 42. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this has 38. So it's missing 2 ramp spells, but we have things like Rites of Flourishing, which could get us to play an additional land, or things like Urban Evolution, which gets us to play an additional land. Love that card. So ramp could be a problem, and maybe that's not early on. Some of the comments we have: in my opinion, the deck doesn't need mana rocks. It's better to leave ramped instants and sorceries and creatures like Vine Trellis. Yep, that's in here. Axebane Guardian, Overgrown Battlement, Wall of Roots. Okay. let's talk about that. So, we got Wall of Roots. That may be the only one. No, yeah, Axebane Guardian. Maybe that is something I need to work on. Uh-oh. I gotta spend money. Don't tell my husband. Haha. I only have 2 of those cards, I'm pretty sure. I may have Overgrown Battlement and I skipped it. I don't have Sylvian Caryatid in here. And that's a cheap one, too. Huh. So, I guess that would be 40 mana, or sorry, 50. As for the removal, we have 1, 2, 3. Oh, plus Haro. Yeah. So we meet the 50 mana sources. There's 5 removal. So that's a problem. Because decks are needing like 10 or more right now. At least with the meta going on. That's crazy. So maybe Reconnaissance is OP. I don't think I have that one in here. Rocks are good but not in green decks. Okay. I've never played Rites of Flourishing. I don't see the appeal. Okay, Rites of Flourishing is like just a personal card that I really like. I like drawing extra cards, so that already helps. And I get to help out other players. That kind of gets me on their good side. Like, hey, I'm helping you ramp. I'm helping you draw. You just look away from me. I'll do my thing. You do yours. Kylie says, I play Arcades too with all the draw ramp. If I'm not able to protect him, it's quite easy for me to recast him. Always fun to play him. Hellion Lord says, I'm going to tell him. His name is Noah, right? Now I just need his number. It's okay. I'll tell him. I'll be like, hey, I gotta upgrade this, so gotta get some money. Interesting. Do I really need ways to draw cards? Like, besides my creatures? I don't know. Luke says, politics are fun in Commander with Rites of Flourishing. That's true. Oh, yeah. He wanted Psychotic Corrosion in here. That's one of his favorites. Because you're drawing so many cards in this thing, you just mill each opponent by 2. So, that's pretty cool. Mr. Durko, I like to play decks that don't depend on the commander that much. Sometimes it's good to make your commander just be the scapegoat. Okay. Yeah, it is nice to have the deck to be able to do something. I think Marin decks do that really well. I was able to almost win with her I don't know why I remember this. A few years ago, I played her. They kept killing my commander, so it's just like, alright, well, I can't afford to recast her, so I'm just gonna do a bunch of grave tricks, and I got second place, so that was cool. Another advantage of this deck is the mana curve 3 or less. I personally run Arcades and 34 lands, 10 ramp, 5 mana dorks. The other instance, man. Okay. So if I were to put this down to 34 lands, I would just take out 2. You know I'm going to have to make a video on this, right, guys? Now I have to. How can I make this the best? Budget Arcades. Okay, so if we go 34 lands, that leaves 2 cards open. Mana curve 3 or less? Oh my goodness. Okay, so take that out. You know, it could be done. You may have a point here. Ooh. Okay, I have Wall of Stolen Identity. You get to copy a creature on the battlefield. I think this is a lot of money. I say a lot. I think it's $10. Still, that's a lot of money for one card. when you do... You got Flump. I like it. Do I? I don't even know. I don't think... Or maybe you're talking to someone in the comments. I don't know. I don't think I have it. Or maybe that's a acronym. I don't think I do. So if I were to have only 3 mana cost creatures, that would make me remove 6 of them, which I'm sure I can find 6 walls that meet that requirement. Please consider finding room for High Alert and Assault Formation. Those are enchantments that work as backups in case Arcades is removed. I have High Alert. I really agree with you on that one. Yeah, because that makes our creatures not useless if they're going to keep taking out our commander. So, Assault Formation. I'll look into that one. So that could replace one of the lands that were taken out if we do 34. And we definitely need more removal. If you want cheap protection to your creature board, I recommend Semester's End, Eerie Interlude, or Cosmic Intervention. If I remember correctly, Cosmic Intervention is a foretell card. So that'd be kind of fun. You're probably not going to cast it on your turn anyways, if it's an instant. Could be good. Okay. I will think about this. I'll look into making this 3 or less converted mana cost. Ooh. Yeah, we got Time Wipe. That's a pretty devastating one, but I like it. The bounce spells work to protect Arcades and give new cards out. Ooh, yeah. Good point. Yeah, this is actually the only board wipe in here. It's Time Wipe. And then... Let's see. Yeah, there's only one board wipe in here, so I need to look into that. I am going to put this away, but I'm really excited to show you the next deck. And I think I should be courteous and shuffle it before I put it away. I think that'd be nice. How are you all doing today? I hope it's good. Psychic Corrosion takes the deck out of focus. Yeah, I agree. My protection sources for Arcades are both Swiftfoot Boots and Nurok Stealth Suit. If I remember correctly, that costs 2 blue to equip at instant speed, Gift of Immortality, and Asceticism. I have 1 Asceticism. I traded for it. I don't know how much you bought it at, but man, it's like a $10 card right now. And I don't like buying $10 cards unless they're like game changers, which that could be one if it's making all your stuff hexproof. Thank you for looking at this deck and commenting on it. I appreciate that. And if you weren't here earlier, I talked about this deck box. It's really difficult to open, but it holds double sleeves really well, so not a lot of decks can do that. Let's talk about this mono red deck that likes to draw cards, because I like to draw cards. Hellion Lord says, or Tyrite Sanctum. It's a good protection in a land slot. I could send you my Arcades list. If I could send you my Arcades list, it would be an honor. I would love to look at it. I have a Discord that should be in the description if you'd like to join, if you're not a part of it already. And we have a section dedicated to deck lists or deck help if you'd be interested to submit it in one of those. I would love to take a look. Bad habit of mine is I have to shuffle before I even look at stuff. But it looks like we're already landing on the right stuff. So what's really cool about Zada is that whenever you cast instant or sorcery that would target your commander, you get to copy that for each other creature you control. Yeah, this is Tomer's Zada. It's so good. This was the $25 deck. It's now worth more, probably $35, but again, if you took out all the basics you needed to buy, it would be around $25, which is really cool. So you get silly stuff like, since you're casting so many instants and sorceries, you can toss in Young Pyromancer. So now you're getting creatures that you can benefit from copying spells. And whenever you copy a spell, you get those multiple times. So I can give a target creature can't block this turn, and I get to draw a card. If I have 5 other creatures, I get to draw 5 more cards, and that's super silly for 1 red mana. Zada looks fun. I'll have to try to build that goblin. It's super good. Jamie has a Zada deck. It's so much fun. Zada's crazy strong. I have it in my Veyron deck. So you get to double instants and sorceries from permanents you control. So does that mean for 1 red mana, you have 5 creatures, you get to draw 10 cards instead of 5? Because if that's the case, that's really good. And we're going to have to talk about that. But not today. I already did Gallia, which was posted in the Discord server if you would like to join that, and it's free. You don't have to be a paid member or anything. You can just be a part of the Mango community. How you win with this deck, besides just absurd drawing cards and creatures, you can cast Fists of Flame. So you draw, let's say, your 10 cards from 2 red mana, something silly, and then you cast this. You get to draw another card, and then each creature gains trample if you're targeting your commander, and they get +1/+0 for each card you've drawn. So assuming you draw 10 cards, they get +10/+0 and trample. It's really bad. Brian, it's good to have you. Zada is fun yet powerful. Oh yeah, super good. Luke says twice as good with Vayner out. Man, I'm not rebuilding it. I'm not rebuilding it. Every time I build that deck, I have to take it apart because it has all the good stuff in it. I have Bergie in there, so whenever you cast a spell, you get a red mana. I should put that in here. I don't know what I'm thinking. Oh, well, I know what I'm thinking. It keeps it budget, so I can play it with other people. It's still really cool, though. Inner Fire's silly. For 4 mana, you get a red mana for each card in your hand. So you have the 10 cards you just drew, you get 10 mana for 4. Oh man, it's a really good deck. I do not recommend the sleeves that are in here. Zada is a good choice as a commander. I was considering swapping to Zada. Okay. I really recommend it. For a mono red deck, it's a lot of fun. These are the katanas from... I'm gonna probably mess it up. These are called katanas. I don't remember what they are, what their company is. Noah, thank you for the $1 donation. That's very kind of you. I appreciate your support. So these are katanas, and I do not like them at all. I was able to purchase 5 packs of these, and 2 out of the 5 didn't fit my cards, and it was really disappointing because I wanted to sleeve up my commander decks and I couldn't do that. So I am Dragon Shield all the way. So Yeah, that was super bummer. So, Edmund says, my mono red Perforos, God of the Forge, doesn't make sense, but it's for an artifact deck. Might switch to a newer one. Might switch for the newer one. Assuming it's the one when a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get to deal 2 to each opponent. Maybe if you wanted to change the deck, you could toss in Krenko. Just have a bunch of goblins. It'd be silly. So I will talk about one more deck and I'll end this live, but it's been really cool so far. I'll have to do this more often. So, or wait, I just talked about this one. Okay. So it is the one I was thinking of. Okay. So I want to talk about the best commander deck. It's probably not the best, but it's a really fun deck. It's Lenore Autumn Sovereign. And what's really sweet is that it may not look like a lot, and people don't care for this deck. They'd rather have the zombie one. So this is going for really cheap right now. I think the cheapest I saw it was like $25, and I'm like, come on guys, this is an awesome deck and people don't even realize it. Hellion Lord says, yeah, Lenore, that's what I'm talking about. So if you control 3 or more different creatures with different powers, I probably said that wrong. If you control 3 creatures with different powers, you get to draw a card, and you get to put a +1/+1 counter on stuff. So tossing in things like Sigarda, that has Coven again, so when this attacks, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, look at the top 5 cards of your library, reveal a human, and then put that into your hand. Super cool. And it gives your humans +1/+1, flying and trample. It's so good. For 4 mana, yeah, it's awesome. Luke built a Kyler deck with Lenore in the 99, but hey, I might try swapping them. Brian says I used to play Zada, but find it boring. Yeah, find it boring after a while, so I switched to Layla the Blade. Okay. And it's fun having a mono red Prosper. I can't swamp Lenore for Torrents. The deck is made to work with Torrents. Yeah, I see what you say. I see what you're saying. I got to open a collector's booster for Midnight Hunt, so I pulled an Overgrown Farmland that's foil. How exciting. Oh yeah, and then just the pre-con itself is super powerful. I was able to go to an in-person, I wouldn't say event, but a commander night, and this was putting up with decks that probably were twice the price or more, and it was doing really good without any upgrades, because it has cards like Tristani Summoner, so you get this plus 3 other creatures when it enters the battlefield that have different powers, which will let us draw cards, and it comes with a Swords to Plowshares, which is cool, and a Gyre Sage, which we can get a lot of mana from. Tech card for Zada, Sudden Breakthrough. Okay. So Sudden Breakthrough costs 1 and a red. It's an instant. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike. Oh my goodness. You get to create a treasure token. So for 2 mana, you're just gonna ramp. Oh my goodness, dude, that's awesome. That is so cool. That came out in Strixhaven. Okay, great suggestion by Jamie. Hellion Lord says, but yeah, Coven Counters is one of the best precons. See, that's what I'm saying. It's so much fun. It got some cards that sucks, and then references cumbrous, but otherwise it's good. It's so much fun. I actually enjoy it better than the zombie one, which, by the way, I let my husband play the zombie one. He really likes that. Likes making a lot of tokens. I got to pull a Fateful Absence, so it's the stamped version. It was, I think, at that same... No, it was a different event. There was a trivia for Commander, and I won, and I got a promo pack, which comes with like 3 to 5 cards, I think, and they have the stamp on there, and I got it for free, just for showing up and playing Commander with my friends. I put Tome of Legends in here, and I really like it because I want to attack, and I like to draw cards. It's really good. Adeline is super good, so we'll talk about that in a second. Triggering the Coven abilities is really easy. Yep. The deck is stronger than it looks. Take out the zombie-specific cards for more synergistic, focused. It's ready to go. Yeah. I didn't really enjoy the zombie precon as much as this one. Okay. So Adeline, Resplendent Cathar, super good commander and card. So for 1 white, it's a star 4 human knight with vigilance. Its power is equal to the number of creatures you control. So assuming you have your commander plus this and 2 other creatures, it's a 4/4. And whenever you attack for each opponent, create a 1/1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking that player. So it will not trigger our commander to let us draw a card if we don't meet that 3 creature requirement, but we can really start building our board, and it's super good. And it's a sketch art too, so had to throw that in there. Creatures with counters I control have first strike. I can draw a card for each creature with a counter on it. It has Cleansing Nova in there, which I really like. I know people are like, it's not a good card, and you just need Wrath of God or whatever. No, it's a good card. You can destroy all creatures or artifacts and enchantments, and most likely we'll pick artifacts and enchantments because we have too many creatures to lose. Return the Dust, nobody likes, and I love it. You can take out 2 things that are artifact and or enchantment. Super good. Edmund says, Adeline interests me as a general. Seen her on Mudsta. I haven't seen that one. Mudsta is a really cool YouTube channel if you haven't seen it. I believe he's still doing Commander gameplays every Tuesday and Thursday. And it just showcases decks that he or other people are playing. Jamie says, I have the zombie tribal deck with Verena at the helm, but I can tell the precon has all the needed cards for zombie core. Yep. Crush Contraband, though. That's a good one, too. I have Burgeoning in here, which is a recent purchase I made because I don't have one and I really wanted one, and it's not $10 like it used to be. It's like $30 probably now. I'm hoping that it will go down again eventually, but I thought the older art looked cool, and it's going to help the deck because ramp is always nice. So to wrap things up, I want to say thank you all for joining me today and just chatting about EDH decks and me showing off what I had. So thank you all for your time, and baby wants, yeah, I thought you guys heard that. He just woke up from his nap, so he's ready to play probably. Yeah, whenever he attempts to play Commander, he likes to squeeze cards. So you know how they're supposed to not be Pringles? Well, he does that to cards. He's only one, though. Have a good one. Yes. We'll all have to say peace at the same time, which there's a slight delay, so I will say peace before you say peace. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.